Coffee, coffee, coffee. Walk this way. No, this way. Clunk. Whoa, that's a lot of coffee. Oh, it smells so good. Walk this way. No, this way. Whoa. It is time for me to stop procrastinating on this project and actually start doing it. I don't know why I'm so nervous to start it. Maybe it's because I've never dyed yarn before and I'm just scared of messing it up for some reason. I don't know. Also, I don't have a clear picture of what this sweater is going to completely look like. I have some fuzzy images, out of focus images that I think I want to have. I know I kind of want to have like this cream of like the cappuccino on top, kind of like foaming down, but other than that, not exactly sure how it's gonna all look. So we're just gonna have to mess around with it. I'm gonna start building the back, and I just first need to figure out how long I want to have it. Whenever I'm not 100% sure what length I want something to be, I go in my closet and I look for something that is similar to what I'm thinking. Obviously, like not exactly what I'm gonna do, but I was thinking more full length, and so I think I want to go for something like this. And this is kind of more the fit I was thinking too, because it's a little bit looser. So it goes up here, and then hopefully it's gonna be like drip, 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 foam, foam, fluff, fluff. Good stuff. This is why this project is gonna be so tricky, because, oh, I should have counted how many I'm gonna get rid of. Whoops. I think that much. So how many is that? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. I'm gonna get rid of 12 stitches and add more white. I really should eat something. I'm quite hungry actually. Forgot to eat something today. But I really like throwing in these triples because it'll keep it nice and drapey. Oops, I wasn't counting. I think that was 6. Yeah, 6. Try that. And then let's count this. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 60. I make things so difficult on myself. Why, oh why? Oh, the misery. I think I'm about to hit my first snag, which is not surprising because it usually happens this quickly. Anyways, it's looking nice, and I have figured out a pattern that I like of triple crochets and then back post doubles. Yeah. That's how you say it. But I've only gotten this far, and I only have this much of the first ball of brown left. And I don't have as many as I thought because I have to have sleeves. If it's going to be a sweater, it could be a sweater vest. Do I want it to be a vest? I could have it a vest. I'm okay with that. I wasn't totally invested in having a vest. So the question is, do I keep going and see if I run out of yarn as quickly as I think I'm going to, or do I chop it by that much? I think I should chop it. I don't know how I'm gonna get full sleeves and everything, so I think I should chop off this much. It looks really pretty. Let me just congratulate myself on how pretty it's looking. Maybe I need to also make the white thicker at the top. Make it like a third white. Alright, so what has happened here? Things have changed. I don't see how I'm going to have enough yarn to make a full sweater with sleeves, which is typically an important part of cardigans. I think I'm going to pivot. I'm going to make it a vest, a very cozy, snuggly vest that you will all want to have. And so I think I'm gonna go back to making it longer, because I think that will be cozier. And, oh, should it be longer in the back? Oh, no, I think I'll leave it straight. I'll leave it straight. And so I'm going to look at the vest that I have for shape, and I'm still going to follow this for the length because I really liked how that was. So let's see if this plan works. So I've been crocheting for an hour, and I'm at the end of my first ball of yarn for the brown. And so this is how far I've gotten. I hope that I will like the white. It's gonna come back down again. Hopefully that looks good. I'm worried I should have done like smaller peaks instead of making it so big. It's so hard to know without, anyways. I think it might look cute in the end. So I'm gonna bring it up and bring it down and see what happens. Let's keep rolling. I got in 2 hours. Let's start. I'm really liking the texture of this. So what I'm doing is triple, then 2 rows of half double, triple, and then repeating that, which I think it looks really nice, and it is very, I mean, it doesn't look as drapey as it is, but yes, it's drapey. I don't know if the cream layer, if I messed up here, if it should have been slower slope, if it looks too pointy, or if it looks okay. I thought with it being on a treble row, it would have been enough, but I don't know. The whole cream layer thing is kind of, I'm not sure if it turned out the way I thought it would. And I also don't know if it's wide enough. That's where we're ending day 1. We'll find out. This is what I have so far. As the back panel, I added in actually 2 more rows because I got nervous that it wasn't wide enough. And so now I need to add the 2 side panels. So we'll see. We'll see if I have enough yarn and if I have enough time. The camera, the high camera. Okay, so I have the right panel and the left panel and the back panel. So now I need to sew it together, do as much of the edge collar thingy-majiggy as I can, make some cuffs for sleeves and see how much yarn I have left, and see if indeed we do get sleeves on this project. So right sides together so that when I'm done sewing it, flip it up, it will be the right way. Yes. Okay, let's pin it so I don't confuse myself. So this is always a good opportunity to try it on at this point, and it's kind of hard because it's not sewn all the way shut yet, so it's kind of hard to get the full picture of it, but it's looking really nice. It feels really nice. It's very cozy, which is definitely what I'm going for. So now what I need to do is make the edge so that this will close. It's gonna be like that, so I need it pretty thick down here, and then I think when it gets to this way, I'm gonna start with this side. When it gets, I think, the button, I don't have the buttons, so it's hard to make buttonholes. So I'll make this side, because I think once I get to here, I want to just go down, and really don't even need anything here. It fits here already at the neck, so just decrease. So start actually pretty wide here, probably like 3.5 inches, and just slowly taper it around here, there, everywhere. Let me try that and see how that looks. I feel like the neckline is always one that I pull out the most and putz around with it. Other than that, looking pretty good so far. We're talking sleeves, so we're talking white down and then brown underneath.
Actually, now I'm rethinking. I like that idea because
if you block it white
Yeah.
and then brown, I guess it's fine if this is like a little bit of white and a lot of brown, or vice versa.
it's not going to
really
be
know.
even, and then it's going to look kind of like a mistake. If
It's either going to look better or like a mistake.
yes, so we don't want it to look like a mistake.
Right.
I kind of like the idea, like the brown and the white.
Yeah.
Kinda like, to my mind, it sounds more difficult to make, but I think it's like gives it a real elegant look.
Yeah.
Kind of like more.
And
like,
it looks
you know
more
how
like a
an
drip.
like an elegant look.
Oh, it looks like an elegant.
Yeah, see?
Looks like an elegant elephant.
Elegant elephant, because otherwise it's so blocky.
Yeah.
You know, blockiness.
Right, because like the whole thing was like supposed to be
visually,
like drips of cream,
yes,
not
visually,
blocks.
yes.
So I could have done blocks, but I didn't do blocks because I didn't want to do
because
blocks.
coffee is more drippy.
Yeah. It's more liquidy, one could say.
Yes, and not blocky.
Right. So now the question is, how big dust the sleeves become?
Okay.
Because bigger I make them, the more yarn it uses. But I don't want it to be tight. You know what I mean?
I think you got a good spot right there.
So,
Mark the spot.
do I have any markers?
I hope so.
Yeah.
What would you do
What would I do what?
if you had 8 hands like an octopus?
Oh, I would have a happy life. So,
All right.
mark it
mark
here.
Mark it right here and here.
Yeah, don't pin me in.
Oh yeah, good point. I just pinned you in.
Oh no, you trapped me.
Okay, so what do I do?
Redo it.
What if I pin you in again? That's gonna happen.
Well, don't pin me in again. Get 2
Okay.
pins.
Oh, okay, good point.
What if you don't pin me in?
Yeah, I like that idea.
Finger.
Okay, this finger right here. This.
Ow!
What? No, you're making that up. You're fooling me. What? Let's see. Did I do it right?
It's fine. I'll even it out because I have to count from the center.
Oh, I might have done it wrong.
No,
Okay.
there's no way to do it perfectly. Just eyeballing it.
Okay.
Because
Okay,
I
good.
don't think most people said, "Oh, I just eyeballed it," and people think you did it perfectly. You know how that works?
No, I don't.
No, like when you said, "Oh, I just eyeballed it," it doesn't mean you did it perfectly. Because if you did it perfectly, you would say, "I did it perfectly," right?
Right.
But
But,
when you-
sometimes when you eyeball things, you do it perfectly.
Accidentally.
Yeah. Sometimes that can be a good way to go.
Oh, you want to see this? I made a wee little heart. Oh, I gotta block it. That's what. Oh, I can't sew it on yet. Anyways, here's the little heart I made. It's supposed to be cappuccino art. That rhymes. Yay me. Okay, I'm gonna get scissors and start this for real now. Oh, you want to double check my sleeve, Mom?
Yes. So
So
hopefully
I think I
you're
got it. I think I got it pinned.
better in a better position.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. This looks like that's even now on the top,
Yeah. Does that look like it's?
and this
Is that too tight?
It's going to be right here.
Yeah, but I
Or
think
half-
5 more stitches on each side, so 10 total. Like 5 down
Yeah.
on each side. I think that would be better.
Would have been.
I
But that brings us. Yeah, you hate it when it's
I
so.
hate getting into a cardigan that's too tight.
Yeah, I agree. This is much better.
And like
yes,
when
yes.
typically,
Yeah, no, look
Yeah,
at
if I
that.
go 5,
that's
yeah.
for sure going to be better. Yeah, no, that's
1,
very,
2,
very
3,
frustrating that
4,
you can't get your
5.
arm in the sleeve. You
Yeah.
can't. That's not fun.
no, that's the worst. We'll see how this goes. It's gonna be a little pocketer. So I'm not going to be sewing all the way around, but I definitely. So we say, goodbye to Monsieur Heart. You have broken my heart for the last time. So, I need more white on the sleeves.
Okay. That'll look good.
So if I do 30,
33?
then that would be 15. So that would be half and half,
I like it.
which seems like a coffee thing. Get it?
Half and
half.
It is a coffee
Who's a
thing.
genius?
Yes. Love it.
Where are you going, my capitan? 1, 2, 3. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4.
Alrighty, we're gonna attempt a little experiment here by doing an epoxy pour using the West system, and we're gonna try to make some buttons. I know, buttons, the last thing that came to your mind. Using these little coffee beans. So with epoxy pours, we need to get everything set up together. We've got our epoxy resin, and we got a nice solo disposable cup and our mixing rod right here. We'll try not to make a big mess over the wife's kitchen table. It's a 1-to-1 mixture, 1 pump per 1 pump. So it's been a while since these have been used, so we'll see how chunky it is coming out, and hopefully we can get somewhere with it. 1. And then 1 pump of this. I doubt it's gonna come out nicely. Probably gonna need to be primed a little bit. Goes. And it's harder to do through a camera than you might figure. So now we just have to mix it up. And once I get it mixed up, I will show you the pouring process. A couple things to note. Popsicle sticks are nice, but I didn't have popsicle sticks, so I just took a little random piece of wood and made it into a stir stick here. The little clear plastic cups that don't have ridges are actually the nicest for this. And of course with epoxy, especially this 105 resin, don't pump too much. Don't get too big a batch. It'll take off on you, especially in the hot weather. And by hot weather, I mean anything that's like over 70. Yeah. So I'll be right back when I start pouring this stuff and have this mixed up real good, which should only take about a minute. Alrighty, we got our silicone molds here, which are just ice cube trays, and we're gonna try to pour this in here. It's like perfect weather for epoxy. It's like not too hot and not too cold. If your epoxy is too cold, you can always pour it into, well, once you got it poured out and kind of mixed a little bit, you can microwave it. Just be careful because it will like to take off on you. So, but just something you can do. Now, anytime you're encasing something in epoxy, you got to remember that the item is going to want to float. So this is just our first pour. That's what we're only doing 1 pump of each, and we're going to get our base layer inside these molds. I have a feeling it's the small ones are going to be kind of where it's at. And yeah, if I had a vacuum chamber, I would have vacuum chambered it. But also this epoxy isn't really good for that, to be honest. Most of the bubbles will get out of here anyways, especially with it not being too cold. It's more like the deep pour stuff. You really want to vacuum chamber if you can, because it takes off slower. And also when you're stirring it for a lot longer, and you incorporate a lot more air. All right, so we got some candidates now. You can always move it around with your stir stick a little bit, kind of help it flow out. Like I said, most of these bubbles will pop on their own, and I'm gonna just try to build this up in layers. And I'm just gonna plop these little beans in here. It's all an experiment, so that means I can't do it wrong. I'll just learn what not to do next time. It's hard to keep everything in frame here. Where's my camera person? Where's Megan? Okay, I got a little problem with some bubbles. I doubt you're gonna be able to see it, but yeah, there you can see it. In between those, right on the edges, little fine bubbles form. This one's the worst one right there. And I'm gonna fix it with fire. All right, doesn't need to be like a big flame torch. This will do fine. A Bic lighter would be fine if you could get it down in there. Anything, just to kind of warm up the surface, and it'll pop those little bubbles. So I'm gonna go to town on this. See that little smoke? I don't know if you could see it. It smoked just a little bit. If it's just a little bit, it's okay, but you don't want to bake these things. That one right here, that one cleaned up just perfect. Ideally, you'd sit and babysit these like every 15 minutes. You'd walk by, pop those bubbles. I really like the West System stuff. It's really good. But they have different hardeners for different hardening times. These things here, like the working time and the pot life is like how long it's going to be in that cup and working for you. They lie all the time. Realistically, if it's warm outside, by that I mean it's like 80 degrees and up, you do not have, like for this, I'm using the 207 hardener. It is not 20 minutes in the pot. Guarantee you it will crystallize and you'll be mad. So just keep it moving. Maybe if it's 60 degrees, your temperature's real cold, maybe then you have a little bit more time, but not. I've never seen a pot with West System that lasts 20 minutes, but you can get other epoxies that have a way longer curing time. But I will say that they don't lie too bad on this solid state stuff. So you can get to the solid cure in roughly those times. Typically, I just always expect 24 hours. Okay, now next step is pretty fun and exciting. We get to reveal if this actually works, even if these silicone molds release. I'm pretty confident they will. All right, let's see how this worked out here and see if I can actually do it one-handed. Ooh, there it comes. Cool. That is a button blank. Actually, the chamfered corners are kind of cool. Looks pretty yellow next to this really white paper towel. And I don't know why. I was just looking at it. I mean, here, we'll look at it together, but that makes it harder. All right, and not too many bubbles, so that's good. And I think the fact that this is going on a coffee colored cardigan will make it the little amber look be just fine. I think that's because my epoxy is a little bit older. That has more of that yellowy tinge to it. So yeah, not too bad. Until I polish up the surface, it's not super clear. 2 peas in a pod. Look at me go one-handed. This is amazing. They are released. And there we go. These are just silicone, so I didn't use any mold release or anything like that. Figured it was good, and my figuring was correct. It worked out. Now, this is the guy that floated away on me, which honestly, I think that's still a usable blank. Okay, still making buttons, and we're coming right down to the wire on this project of our time allotted for it. So I got the corners sanded off there, because they kind of, shoot, what's that? Something in, it's a physical thing where you put a liquid in a container, it always like is drawn up towards the sides. If you remember what that's called, you can leave a comment down below. But anyways, there's that phenomenon. So that leaves sharp little edges on the buttons because they sit in the mold right like that. So I gotta knock that corner off, which I did with some sandpaper. And now I am drilling holes on the diagonal with this thing here, see? And when I hit a coffee bean, it smells like coffee, which is pretty good, pretty cool, helping me wake up. All right, so this is what I'm doing. Just hand drilling them out because I'm too lazy to put it in a drill press. And that's that. I better get this off to Megan before she beheads me for taking too long. All right, ciao.
I'm just gonna sip on my chicory latte. It's not actually coffee, it's chicory because it's too late in the day to be drinking caffeine. That is good. So would you like to know what's going on with the sweater? Because I would like to know what's going on with the sweater. What a trial this sweater has become. So I took out the sleeve like 5 times, something like that. Finally got it right, to discover that I ran out of yarn. And I ran out of the yarn that I didn't think I was gonna run out of. I ran out of white. So then I'm like, okay, what am I gonna do with this? So my solution is to add black to the end of the sleeves and at the end of the sweater, probably. We don't know yet because more problems might come up. So I sent my dearest mother to the yarn store while I was at work, and you would think you would have lots of options for black wool. Well, I got the last 2 skeins, and this is even sport weight, so I'm gonna have to double them up. So hopefully I get to the end of the sleeve and we can move on with our lives. That's the goal. So I'm going to just sit here and watch a bit of a show and just crochet, and you can see how far I got. It's pretty impressive. It's looking pretty beautiful. So there we go with the sleeve, and I'm hoping to do a cuff situation. So I'm going to start with the cuffs, and then I'm going to add on the length and see where we get from there. Boom. Oops, that's not what I'm doing. I'm doing half doubles. Am I doing half doubles? Nah, let's see how we'd like a double. Don't know what stitch I'm doing anymore. I'm gonna go for about 3 inches. So I made that a wee bit longer than I needed to. So let's find 3 here. Is that really 3 inches? Who are you anyways? Explain yourself. See, I knew it. How does that happen? You take it out? What? I hate measuring. You see, I like the twistedness of it, which I know sounds weird, but just believe me, okay? Don't question everything I say. I'm tired of it. I can't deal with it any longer. So what am I doing? And you probably can't see anything, so the whole filming thing is really pointless because the camera is casting a shadow onto black yarn, and I'm not going to do anything about it. So there. Don't go blocking my heart. I couldn't if I tried. Oh wait, I am doing it. Never mind. That was a terrible joke. Special button delivery. I think I picked out my favorite ones. It's really hard to see in this light. Oh well, you get the point. I picked out some buttons out of the ones that the Bro Man made. They're looking really cool. Whee! So now I just got to figure out placement, and I think I'm going to sew them on first and then do the other side in the buttonholes to make sure that everything lines up. Yeah. I think that's what I'm gonna go for. Okay, wish me luck. I'm not gonna go too crazy with sewing them down because if it doesn't look right, then I can redo it without tearing my hair out. Although if I have to redo it at this point, I'll be pretty sad. But no, these buttons turned out so cool. I think I'm gonna do 4 because of just where the decreases are and everything. I think 4 will look really nice. Even though rule of thirds, why is it not going in my needle? So here we go. Ow. This is a very sharp darning needle. I wonder if it is actually a darning needle originally or if it's just a sewing needle with a large eye. It's finished! I don't know, it was a really cool piece. I don't know what to say about it because you've seen everything already, but it's one of these pieces where is pretty close to flawless, if I do say so myself, because I took it out so many times. No, I often have it with pieces because I do one of a kind. Usually I don't repeat the pattern over and over again, although that's something I'm going to work on this coming year, is to have a little bit more standard patterns. But what happens is that there's often an element that didn't quite work out the way I had in my head. Not saying that it turns out bad, but it just is different than I was hoping, and so I'm just like, oh, let's turn the camera a little bit away from that part. But with this, I don't know what I would do differently. Honestly, I think the whole thing just turned out really, really great because I just wanted this like relaxed. It just like drapes over really nice, just really cozy, very reminiscent of that grandpa cardigan. So my grandpa always wore cardigans, and I was just like, oh, I was kind of going for that vibe. Why did I have to take it out so many times? Was mostly not so much grievous errors, but more because I was trying to figure out the best way to use the yarn that I had. If I ever did it again, if I dye my own yarn again, which I probably will because it was cool, I would make sure that I have too much instead of too little. I was just on that thin line of like, will it be enough, will it not be enough, and that was kind of stressful, and I don't want to do that again. So that was really why, and that's where like the sleeves came in, is that often I would have this part wider, and then, you know, just had the whole sleeve a little bit wider. But because I was running out of yarn, I just was trying to think like, what's the perfect fit and the perfect balance of yarn. And I really like how it turned out. I think it pushed me to make it a really streamlined sleeve, and that it's not too tight and not too loose, which is important. And with the collar here, I always have to redo this a couple times. This yarn had a lot of, whoa, what did it have? This yarn was so cool. It was so reactive. And I'm like, what? What is reactive yarn? It means that if I put a decrease in, it was like, listening to everything I said. Whereas usually yarn doesn't listen to me. It was funny how I was like, oh, I'm just gonna act like it's normal yarn that I usually work with. And then it was just doing everything that I told it to. And I was like, whoa, calm down. I'm not used to yarn listening to me that much. I had to take that out a couple times, but we came to an understanding and we're good now. And yeah, just everything with the buttons and the little heart pocket turned out so cute. And actually the black, I think, ended up being a good problem, because I think just that little hit of black is perfect. This is the sweater, and I hope you check it out in the shop. And if you liked this video, if you liked coming behind the scenes and seeing how I come up with the things that I come up with, make sure that you like and follow so you can see more of what I do.
It's a little hard to know how this is going to work out, because obviously we're going to have to drill some holes through these after the fact, but I'm not too worried about it. If we got drill holes through a coffee bean, we're going to do it. All right, so got 2. Let's try one with 3. This one's going pretty well, so I'm just going to pop that over there. It is nice to wear gloves while doing this, just so that things don't become a sticky mess. Trust me, things can become a sticky mess really fast. In fact, the first time I tried to do a deep pour epoxy, it was a huge slab table. I had like a 2-inch crack in it, and I didn't know better, so I started just loading this thing up. I taped the backside of it, and then I just started loading this thing up with epoxy. What happens is epoxy gets hot, of course, and then when things get hot, it starts to make the tape adhere to the backside a lot weaker. The adhesive just kind of warmed up and then started to sag. Needless to say, the shop was covered in epoxy. I was covered in epoxy. It was a bad day. I was not happy. I ruined a very nice pair of pants because epoxy everywhere. So I've been scarred before. Just learn from me, work in batches. If you're doing a deep pour, you gotta do a shallow pour first, kind of get that whole base layer formed up without getting too much weight in there. So things you live and learn. Definitely, if you have nitrile gloves, wear those, and definitely don't do this at the kitchen table where your wife might, see any mistake. We did good today. We didn't spill a drop. So adios.